Well, what a month June has been. Starting off a couple days prior with the events of Midoff's and Kuriway's 10,000th speedrun live at TwitchCon over in Rotterdam, MCSR now turns its attention to the City of Angels as it prepares to host the community's biggest event to date. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Preshow, and well, given we're here to look ahead to the inaugural MCSR World Championships, I thought I'd bring in quite the global cast to deliver all the facts, stats, and thoughts, as I'm delighted to say I'm joined by our former special guests in Mollyyxy and Fenniq, and a newcomer to the show in North America's very own KyleEff. Everyone, what's going on? How are we doing?
Hi. I love how we have a North America representative. Thank you.
I have to rep for my continent, of course. You know, being the newcomer on the show, though, it doesn't even matter because we have the most representation from North America, of course, so we had to have the stars come out tonight. So I'm glad to be here. Bendo, thanks for inviting me. Molly, Fenniq, great to see you both. I'm excited. I'm excited for this tournament here. Ludwig obviously putting on one of the biggest shows in MCSR history. Very, very excited to be a spectator of it over the next weekend. We have literally the best speedrunners in the world. I can't even believe that we're putting something on this big to have all these players in the same exact room playing against each other at the biggest LAN of all time for MCSR. I mean, it's just an incredible event.
Well, yeah, exactly like you say. It's going to be such a cool event. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be the biggest crowd we've ever had by a long shot in the history of MCSR in terms of LANs. I'm hearing at least over 1,000 RSVPs to the event, which is just insane and so amazing. It just shows the power of this community and what we're able to do now. Just how much we've grown, especially with the involvement of Ludwig and Mogul Moves and everyone involved in that sort of thing, able to put this on, especially, you know, as a free event to the public. Obviously, you have to make your own way to LA and all that sort of stuff, but it's so cool to be able to make such an atmosphere and what like that can do, and especially for the new fans coming in. You know, there's been a lot of interest, as you've seen, with all these. There's some amazing graphs that Ortho does over on Twitter, like with the census and everything. I just keep seeing the number go up and up and up, and the graphs go really, really high. And I think we've hit like 35 to 50k at some point, which is just so awesome to have live concurrent views. I mean, this is getting to the point now in terms of the production level of these things that we've all seen, and the level of live concurrent viewers and unique viewers, that we're getting to that sort of kind of esport level viewership that we're trying to aim for here in terms of MCSR rank. So I'm really, really optimistic and just really excited for the future of MCSR as a result.
Hell yeah. I was commentating, or I was watching a stream of the World Cup, which is kind of a separate competition, but I think it was China and Japan. And we had the restream, the like Japanese restream up at that time, and they had 6,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube. It like ticked over, which is insane. Like the amount of eyes on this space is getting crazy. And speaking of ortho census, I think when it first came out, I think people, when responding to the census at that time, were like, yeah, MCSR has kind of plateaued in terms of its growth stage, but we can see that's absolutely not the case. Like, we were in our early days and now we're seeing insane growth. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think like Ludwig kind of talked about this as kind of like the Super Bowl of MCSR. And I feel like it's really true, like both in case of like the star players and kind of like the build up and hype around it as well. Like, it kind of feels like the best of the best, the biggest that it can possibly be. I'm just super really excited to see, I mean, what's to come, how many people are going to show up, watch on Twitch, be there in person. I mean, we already know, like, how hard, like, the RSVPs, like, they filled up, like, so fast. It's just super, super crazy. Like, it's going to be so exciting, I think.
It's just going to be so awesome. I think it's 1,200 capacity. In terms of the event, I don't think they've announced like the final total, which I assume will be calculated actually at the event. So it's gonna be so awesome, especially when we compare it to what we've seen recently at TwitchCon and Midoffs, which of course you were involved in, Molly, which was really, really awesome. Shame Kyle couldn't make it, but you'll be there. You'll be there at the LAN anyway, so it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But yeah, it was cool to be there and see like a full whole, I guess, arena, they called it, like a whole room of Minecraft and all that sort of stuff, and it was all tricked out for that. But I guess that's more similar to the Level Up LAN, where people are walking around the whole expo, everyone's not staying in one spot a lot of the time, but all the seats were full. I remember like I mean, you must obviously had a better view of it on stage. All the seats were full round us and people were stood in the back waiting for it as well. So there was a lot of interest there, a lot more interest there than I guess I kind of felt. Like the seats were always kind of full, especially for mid-offs. But I feel like when I say in terms of traditional esports, this is moving, and I akin this a lot to Rocket League, because Rocket League has a very sort of similar structure, as I'd say. So they have it where they have majors, like 3 majors a year, and then they have world championships. So the majors help you qualify for the majors, and the majors help you qualify for worlds, and then worlds is the big trophy at the end, which is, I guess, the same structure in ranked at the moment, because we use seasons 8, 9, and 10 to qualify for worlds. So it's a very similar structure that's been tried and tested and works really well in esports. So to see us move towards more, I guess, a traditional esports format, but still keep our same originality sort of thing. I really like that. I think that's working really well, and the players are just getting better and better as a result. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Bendo, the skill ceiling for this game has really grown over the past year as well. But not only that, just something that I've noticed over the past couple months as well is that the amount of people talking about Minecraft speedrunning and ranked in general has gone up exponentially. I mean, you look at this community a year ago, you saw probably maybe 300 people actively playing at one given time. Now we're usurping over 4 digits of players on ranked at any given moment. I mean, it's just incredible how much the space has grown. And not only that, we're coming off the heels now of mid-offs, like you said, in front of a live audience at TwitchCon, one of the biggest events of the year. And inside the Minecraft studio, where Minecraft themselves, Mojang themselves, is recognizing the speedrunning community as one of the premier communities within the space. And this is something that is pretty abnormal to the space. I've been part of playing Minecraft for the past 15 years of my life, since the beta. And this is the first time over the past 15 years that I've seen speedrunning be so popular to the general community and have so many eyes on it now. And now it's due to a lot of different things, including what the ranked playoffs has already done to grow the game, and all of the people participating in it to spread the word about what Minecraft speedrunning actually can be, but also people engaging in the community. And things like the World Championships are only going to amplify that. So I really do think this is the beginning of something special. And I mean, I really do hope we see something like the World Championship happen. Perhaps it comes over year as we go over the ranked playoff seasons. And like you said, Bendo, including all of those steps along the way to qualify. But not only that, we have those qualifiers, but we also had 2 different qualifiers for people that didn't make those top ranks, to show why they deserved to have a place in the World Championships, Bendo. And I mean, that really showed how many players can really step up to the World Championship level of play. And that just goes to show the skill ceiling for this game, it really is ever growing. And I don't know if we'll see a real ceiling to this game for a very long time.
I think what you said about the numbers growing, I think it comes a lot with ranked and the accessibility that ranked has. There's no more requirement to reset. Minecraft speedrunning is now in a stage where you can play all the time. It's no longer sitting and waiting half of your session. You can play and play and play and play. And like, I think a lot thanks to streamers like Ludwig really taking an interest in ranked, and people seeing him play, and they're seeing him, wow, this guy's bad, I can beat him. It's really motivating for people to be like, this seems like something I could do, and how easy it is to get into now. Just so easy to set up. I think just the place we've come to is so beautiful, and I think it's the reason the community is growing is due to all of the great resources and things that have come due to ranked.
It's fun. I want to go off that as well, because it's fun seeing all of the different facets of the community, because you obviously have the streamers who are the most face forward people and the most recognizable, but behind the scenes, exactly like you said, Molly, we have people like Conteria, who created seed queue for RSG or any percent runners, so you wouldn't have to have like 50 different screens generating worlds. It was absolute nightmare to set up. Then you have Jojo creating a tool like Tool Screen, making it so much easier and like really lowering the technical bar for entry. Because I remember when I started, it was just before seed queue came in, and it was genuinely a nightmare to do. So I think the developers who put so much passion and so much heart into this game and into the like love of the game and the love of the community, because a lot of the tools, I think if not all of the tools, are free. It's literally free from the heart passion projects, because of the amount of heart that these people have.
Yeah, I really do think this is the first time that it's been the most accessible it's ever been. I mean, you look all the way back going to when Ninja Brain first published the calculator. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but it really was the first entry into a more accessible game. And because of its allowance in mainstream Minecraft speedrunning, it's really allowed for players to have an easier barrier to entry and be able to find strongholds a lot quicker without having to chase down an Eye of Ender running through the overworld, or having to pull out a pen and paper and be able to calculate where the triangulation actually is going. I mean, you look at the Curryways of the world, the purists of the game, and they've found a way to do it efficiently, but they're still not making the times that we're seeing the Infumes or the Skycraps of the world in the RSG space do. Like that accessibility is making it so much easier for someone to download the game today and be able to start playing right away. Where even 2 years ago, you had to download probably 9 or 10 different programs and mods to be able to do speedrunning at a suboptimal efficiency. Now we're seeing players log on, 5 minutes later, they're already playing games at the highest level of efficiency that the top level players are playing.
Yeah, I really think like in like 2021, 2022, we were kind of in this like required hardware era of MCSR where you needed a really good computer to compete at the highest level. But now even with ranked, but even outside of ranked, with all the things that have come to help RSG, like you said, Seed Queue, making it so much more accessible to get into, and you'll have top players that don't really have the greatest computer, like for example Mollyyxy, someone who started out on a really like bad computer. Just as soon as ranked comes, something where the computer isn't as needed just skyrockets to the top because of how much more accessible the game has become.
Yeah, 100%. Even like the little things that you don't really think about no more, like mod check. Just all those really small building blocks that have happened years on years on years. I mean, I remember 2020, 2021, no macro, no performance mods, like single instance reset. And you didn't, like, all the strats were nowhere near what we're at now. Like, you were happy if you played a week and got a 40-minute time. Like, it's crazy to get to the point to where we've gotten now, and just that the barriers to entry have lowered so much more into this game. And that's a big part of why we're able to see, you know, such a big increase in the player base, so where these people don't have to dedicate like their whole social time into just playing a single run.
I think something which is also often overlooked is the beautification of the game, because I used to just watch Minecraft speedrunning before I even started streaming or anything. And it was so difficult to enter the community in terms of knowledge, because people would load into the nether and then numbers would come up all over the screen, and it would take, and you feel uncomfortable asking, like, what are they doing? Why are they pausing? How do they know where this or that is? But now with tool screen, you have, for example, the larger pie or the significantly magnified E counters, C counters. It makes it much easier for completely fresh newcomers who are clicking into a Twitch stream to see, oh, they're looking at this number because that's magnified or highlighted. That must have some connection. And then that curiosity can like further feed their interest in Minecraft speedrunning. I think it's really good because the game on its own, the F3 screen is very intimidating. Even the pie chart's very intimidating. And oftentimes we forget what it's like for someone who has no knowledge or understanding of how to speedrun, who is just joining.
Yeah, and I think when a lot of people are now starting to play the game themselves, and a resource that we as experienced runners maybe don't really think about is Curryway's guide, how huge that has been. Like every time I see someone getting into the game, they open Curryway's guide and it has tutorials from so many top runners about every single part of the game. It makes the barrier to entry so much more accessible, so much smaller. And it's so much easier to get into, which like there's so many beautiful resources. I think the community is in such a beautiful stage right now. And yeah, it makes me really happy as someone who's been here for a while.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Molly. I think one thing that's super, super important that I've noticed as well, comparing it to other speedrunning communities, is that the Minecraft community is not gatekeeping any strategies. It's not trying to be the best at all times by keeping information away from other people. It's engaging the community from the bottom of the bottom to all the way at the top. You're seeing people spread strategies and help people understand why Minecraft speedrunning is done a certain way, why strategies are done a certain way. I mean, you think about bastion rounding, for example. If K4 didn't release his tutorials years ago, where would we be as a community, right? Those types of things that the community has engaged in for years now. is so beneficial from the top to the bottom in terms of understanding. I mean, even leading up to these World Championships, Doogile and Silverr have been preparing together step by step to push each other to try to be the best they can possibly be and come up with new strategies to bring to the world stage and show, like, we can do this at the highest level, and these players are helping each other out to be that best version of themselves. So when they're competing on that world stage, they are doing it at the best possible level with all the same playing field.
Exactly like you say. And speaking of that world stage, that is going to be something every single player is going to have to step on at some point over the weekend. Now, will that environment, the different environment, you know, most of these players are like us here, you know, sat in their bedrooms in the safety of their own home, playing the way they want. They've got their desk, their monitors, their everything set up the way they want it, and no people only watch them behind the camera or behind the screen. Especially for the, like, this is such a step up from any other LAN crowd we have ever seen. And the players won't really know the full setup. You know, they'll have a setup day beforehand where they can go in, you know, obviously configure all their settings and all that sort of stuff, which is nice and good. And maybe they'll get some time playing just to get used and comfortable to all that sort of stuff. But you can't prepare for that time when you step on stage and you see every single participant in the crowd watching you and your gameplay. Now, and with such a big prize pool on, like, $25,000, that is life-changing for some of these players that, you know, if you win this, you might get the opportunity again to say, like, well, I can dedicate so much time to this game now and just continue to be the best I can be. But will these players be able to be the best they can be? Will we see a change of style in gameplay, a pace of gameplay, a little bit of pressure from the crowd? How do you guys think that will sort of stack up against these players? Or will they just be able to just play the way they do?
It's very easy to make the number of people, viewers, kind of abstract, especially if you see a number 12, 30, 50, 300 people watching. It's just a number and it changes arbitrarily. It's very different having that amount of, like, double that amount of eyes actually watching you, and you can feel like the crowd perusing everything you're doing. I think it'll be very interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to see how much that mental aspect has, because obviously the competition style is very different to ranked ladder. And this is going to be that next level again, because you have to be able to manage that mental of, like, that aggressive need for winning and performance with the mental aspect of, I need to stay calm no matter who's watching and just lock in.
Yeah, when those lights turn on the literal biggest stage that we've ever seen in Minecraft speedrunning, it is a real thing. The pressure of all those eyeballs in you in the room, watching everything you do from the moment you step on stage, physically walk to your computer as well. Things like that, and setting yourself up. People are going to be watching you, and without even thinking it, are going to be thinking about everything that you're doing because you are the best, and they want to copy the best as well. But not only that, physically the lights that will be on stage as well. You're going to get a lot warmer than you are typically, and a lot less comfortable than you are. Because, again, you're not in your bedroom. You're not at your normal computer setup. A lot of those things will change over time. Like, even the littlest thing, like sweaty palms, because you're nervous, because it's a little bit warmer than you're used to, can throw you off your game just a little bit. So these runners with a little bit more LAN experience, playing at these desk setups, even going back to Pace in Maryland, when Silverr won that event, those are the types of things and those experiences that you need to be able to perform at that next level. But, I mean, it's all a mental battle for yourself, right? At the end of the day, you're playing your game. You're going against a person on your screen. You're not doing a physical challenge here. You're really just engaging with yourself, and it's a mental load that you have to manage with all the people in the crowd and with the person across from you that may or may not be one of your best friends as well, that you're competing for $25,000 against. So a lot of those things are factoring in here all at once. So it's up to these runners to make sure that they're as focused as they possibly can be to manage all these different factors that they're not going to be used to, even with the setup day, to prepare for once they step onto that stage.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of things, like, will make you feel different. Like, as you said, like, maybe you're gonna bring your keyboard and mouse, but it's gonna be a different monitor. You're gonna have a different chair. Maybe at home you play without shoes. Here you have to play with shoes. These things can really, like, make you play differently. And it's going to feel completely differently than from home. So we don't know, like, are they going to be playing at their top level? Are they going to be nervous? Like, it's hard to say. I'm really curious to see, like, how some of these runners that most of these runners have never been on a LAN before. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it. This
is one of the biggest prize pools, I think, in MCSR history as well. 25,000.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. That's a lot of money. Can go towards college, a car. Very exciting very, very exciting.
Well, I think what Kyle said is kind of true. Like this, like winning this could be like enough money to like drop out of school and just like commit fully to Minecraft speedrunning.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's so much money. Like it's genuinely so much money.
That is months of rent. Months of rent.
Most of these people live with their parents. Like this is so much money for them. It's an insane amount of money. They don't even pay rent.
Do you know how much DoorDash Feinberg can buy if he wins this tournament? He'll have Chipotle showing up every hour for the next year.
That driver's gonna get tipped so much. He's gonna be living on cloud 9. Oh my god! But no, it's a serious point in the sense of like this could be the money, like the make or break moment for these players to be like, I can go back and tell my parents this is a legitimate career for me, at least at this moment in time. I mean, you're seeing it especially with some runners such as Infume. You know, I see he's pulling numbers all the time at the moment on Lifesteal World and getting involved in all different areas of the Minecraft community and this, that, the other. You know, especially with the popularity of MCSR and just general Minecraft, I guess, having a little bit of resurgence in general and more presence at the moment on these online communities, just being able to sustain more viewers and bring in more monetization for themselves and more sponsorships and this, that, the other. It is becoming a legitimate prospect for them in this sense, especially with the way MCSR is going. And it's just, you know, it must be a massive motivator for these players. But yeah, we'll see how the pressure will affect all these 12 players going into the LAN. And if you are unsure about all these 12 players are, well, I know just the guy to bring us the facts and the figures.
Hello everyone, I'm Naddy, and I'm here to remind you how all 12 of our players earned their spot to compete live in front of a capacity crowd in LA. Eligibility for this tournament spanned over the course of the most recent 3 seasons, with the first 9 slots being granted to podium places for seasons 8, 9, and 10, and the final 3 slots decided by a last chance qualifier between the top 100 players over that period, defined by phase points. Season 8, taking place in September last year, granted invites to 3rd placed Mollyyxy, finalist Infume, and first time champion Hacking Noises.
Also for Infume.
And he gets it!
He gets it! I think that's it!
Infume does as well, though! Maybe comes down to death animation.
I don't know.
It's dead for Hacks at 706, and it's dead for Infume at 707. That's playoffs! He takes the gold!
I'm glad I kept going. I just really wanted to win at least the one.
And that'll be a feat that Hacks would repeat in Season 9, becoming the world's first runner to achieve the title of back-to-back playoffs champion, beating out Doogile 4-2 in dramatic fashion. Skycrab would take home 3rd place ahead of Infume, securing his spot on his plane to the States. Season 10 would bring Aquacrode, with him taking the bronze medal spot. It also brought one of the greatest grand finals that we've ever seen, but unfortunately we won't be seeing the appearance from our most recent champion, EDCR, as he declined the invite. As a result, 4th placed Feinberg will be taking his spot and heading to the Alex Vita. And with the double placements of Infume and Hacks, the barrier to entry for the World Championship was lowered, with a total of 5 places now on offer via the LCQ, spread across a weekend format. LCQ Saturday featured a double elimination best of 1 format, where the winners of the upper and lower bracket would have their spot secured in LA. Many upsets occurred over the grueling 5-hour day of non-stop action, with Silverr dropping down to the lower bracket early alongside Danny Boy and Ulsahin. It also featured a phenomenal run from Indonesia's flag bearer Hasbi, taking down Hypnotic, Steez and Vstrid, culminating in a quarter-final loss to MrBudgie on the time limiter. But the story of Saturday belonged to HDMI cables, and not in the way he might have hoped. He would lose the upper final to Anchor Boy and later lose to Pavkin in the lower final, who's a bit of a dark horse by the way, being the only player in the entire World Championships with no prior playoffs experience. And so, with the final 3 spots up for grabs, HDMI cables and 57 other hopefuls took to the server on Sunday for one final chance to represent themselves over a grueling 10 seeds. And the surprises sprung yet again, with players such as Season 10 playoffs participant Ulsahin falling at the first hurdle in round 6, and playoffs regular Beef Salad being eliminated in round 7. Heading into the final round though, it was a 6-horse race for the top 3, with Jay, Pool and Silverr fighting to claim the spots occupied by HDMI Cables, MrBudgie and Aria MCSR, who had finished first in 3 out of the 4 recent seeds, a feat only completed by NHB in Season 10. Most notably, the point totals lined up so that if a player other than Eric or Silverr was to finish in first, and Silverr finished second, Eric would need at least 4th to leapfrog Silverr and take the roster's final position. And as it transpired, the round played out as if there was a script to be ran. Paul would take the crown for C10's first finisher, setting up the battle the crowd had eagerly anticipated. It became a clear dogfight between Eric and Silverr for the final spot. The players were neck and neck throughout the entire seed until the end fight, where Silverr entered first and Eric entered just a few seconds behind. Silverr did his job. He finished out with a flawless 2+2. That's all he could do. But now it was Eric's chance to steal it away from him.
I think Eric's ahead still, literally, oh my god, but has no Crying Obsidian, but an incredible fix. Silverr kills the dragon, but Nerdy, if Eric hits the 0, which again, low explosive, only has this anchor,
be able to.
and kills
Does
it,
he get
I
it?
think? No, he doesn't,
not yet.
He doesn't get it.
He's still alive and Eric dies!
Dead!
Eric dies!
God, by a
Which means-
sliver!
One singular health point. That's all that stood between Eric and the opportunity to play in MCSR's biggest event yet. The explosion from the Dragon Chase Down was enough to sweep them off the platform and brush away their hopes of qualifying to LA. One of the most devastating moments ever in a ranked event. Instead, it was a story of retribution. The HDMI cables, after losing the final twice the day prior, joined Silverr and MrBudgie in confirming his qualification to the event. And that is how the stage was set for the MCSR World Championships. I've been Naddy, back to the studio.
Whoosh, whoosh. I love that ending. It was so good. Thank you so much, Naddy, for helping us out and delivering us the LCQ wrap-up there. And such a heartbreaking way for Eric to not be here in LA for the event. And speaking of the event, we know the structure of the weekend and how these players are going to be battling it out. So, Saturday, stage 1. Known as a battle royale, there will be 11 players competing across 10 maps, each map being awarding points based on the finishing placement and ends once the first 8 players are finished. So it goes first being 8 points, 8th place being 1 point, and then 9th, 10th, and 11th gaining 0 points. And that is totaled across all the 10 maps. So that is not, it's not what like in other LCQs where players will drop off like round 6, round 7, round 8. It will be all players play 10. All -1, by the way, because you might notice there was 11 players playing in this, not 12. There is one exemption, and that is Hacking Noises, who, as the winner of 2 out of 3 of the playoffs, technically gaining 2 invites in a way, has been given a bye straight into stage 2. And stage 2 being the championship bracket. Now, the interesting thing about this, it isn't that the first day is all seeding and then you have the bracket built and then we play it on the second day. No, the 8-person best of 5 bracket starts on the Saturday after 10 games. So that will begin on the 20th, on the Saturday being the first 3 matches of the bracket, and then the final 4 matches of the bracket being on the Sunday, also a best of 5, and then prize pools are distributed as such. The first place receiving $10,000, second place receiving $5,000 for a $15,000 match, which is crazy. Third and fourth respectively receiving $2,500, and then fifth and eighth receiving $1,250. So, crucially, not every place will receive payment, which adds to the pressure of the event. Only 67% of players will be receiving money in this event. I had to say it. I had to. It's also factual. It's on the thing. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. All right. But I thought that was a really key point to pick up on, and it's very purposeful, I feel, by the organizers for this one. Hax's position in this, I don't know if you'd want to be in his position. Obviously, you get that buy, meaning you get automatic money. Brilliant, awesome, amazing. But you go into your game. Obviously, he will probably be going and warming up somewhere, that sort of thing. But that pressure on that stage, which we have already established, will be a very key thing to get over and get comfortable under.
Yeah, absolutely, Bendo. I mean, the last time we saw Hax was in the Season 10 playoffs, where he was eliminated in a clean sweep 3-0 in the first round. The last time we saw him was him losing every single match that he played. So Hax better hope that, I mean, we don't know the schedule right now for stage 2, but he better hope that he is one of the first 3 matches that plays on Saturday, because you don't want to step up there after every single competitor in the event has played multiple matches already on stage, has warmed up, has felt comfortable in front of a crowd, and you're stepping up for the first time on the Sunday with no experience up there at all in an elimination game. I mean, the pressure is insurmountable at that point. If I was Hax, I would be begging Ludwig on his front doorstep, letting that first match of the day in stage 2 be him and whoever comes out on the other side. Otherwise, it is going to be a huge mental battle to be able to climb for Hax. But that being said, all the players that have qualified will likely be in a position where they're comfortable in this kind of setting. I mean, 3 of the people that have qualified for this entire World Championship have come up through a LCQ style bracket before, where they have to be the best of the best, and consistency is rewarded. There are some players at the top end, namely Infume, who is one of the most consistent players in the world right now, who time and time again come out of here super, super consistent. Meanwhile, there are some other runners like Feinberg who aren't necessarily as consistent, but show time and time again that they are probably one of the most skilled players in the world, where their ceiling is much, much higher than some of the players in this tournament. And we're going to see that skill disparity throughout the entire tournament, throughout that LCQ type bracket in stage 1. I mean, the first place seeds will definitely be minutes apart from the bottom end there, where you're just scraping by points. And it just comes to show that once you start going at the very beginning, like, it's going to start going really quickly. So again, Hax really needs to have that first match on Saturday. If it comes on Sunday, I would be a little worried for him.
I completely agree, Kyle, especially because all of the people that we're seeing play here are streamers. So we get a bit of an insight into their life, their habits, and how their mind works. That day where Hax got eliminated, he did mention that he had just woken up from a nap. So we know it could have been a one-off, but we know that, like, at least historically, he performs better once he's warmed up. So does Mollyyxy. Some of these players are phenomenal straight off the bat, but Hax is a bit hit or miss with how much he needs to be warmed up, especially if everyone else is warmed up and he's just coming in cold with no real opportunity to be practicing and overlapping, practicing while the other matches are happening, because obviously the computers are taken. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can match that amount of warm up as all the other players.
I wanted to ask you, Bendo, about after mid-offs, or the show match between Feinberg and Hax.
Mm-hmm.
Who won that? I'm curious.
I'm pretty sure it was Feinberg. I'm quite
yeah, because I wasn't there, because they did play that match, but
yes,
I think that match. I think that match wasn't very serious, so I don't think you should bring it up.
It was a very chill atmosphere. I mean, I took that opportunity to actually kind of walk around the convention a little bit, because I hadn't done it the whole weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't there either.
So, but I'm pretty sure I heard from very reliable sources who were there that Feinberg did win it. So, tell us about it. You were there at Mid-Os. Did you feel, obviously a lot smaller crowd, but lights are on you, the official Minecraft stream is on you. Did you feel any sort of pressure? You weren't playing, of course, you were coaching, but did you feel any sort of pressure from all these eyes on you, or anything like that?
Well, as you said, I don't feel like there was a lot of pressure on me. Like, for me, it was very, very chill. But I think there was this sort of like moment of realization after the matches, when I walked off the stage and I got to like see all the people that were actually there. People come up to me. I kind of, like Fenniq said earlier, when you're live on Twitch, these are just numbers, 15, 300. It's hard to say what it really is. But when you're there and someone walks up to you and you're like, whoa, this is 20 people wanting to talk to Fulham next to me, not me. It's a very crazy thing to see all these real people. It's going to really come down to how reserved they are. Like, are they going to be on the stage, only backstage, really keeping to themselves, keeping focus on the game? Or are they going to be, walking around doing other things that will kind of like probably put more pressure on them, because they're going to really have the feeling people coming up to, hello, I'm a real person. I want you to win. Look you in the eye. And that's nerve wracking, right? So I really think like it's going to come down to how close off they are from the people. Like, because this is going to be a big stage. I don't think the people are like, they're not going to be touching your face. And so I think it's going to not feel as bad. But I think like if you like just get out in the crowd, just walk across the crowd for a second, you're like, whoa, this feels like it's going to feel way more real than actually being up there.
I think people like Feinberg are going to have a massive advantage because they are obviously very comfortable in front of a significant audience. They're also very comfortable with the participants, with the organizers, with the crowd. I think mental plays an enormous aspect, like everyone here has said, in gameplay. And I think we're going to see people who are used to that mental crowd and being perceived element, like Feinberg, are going to have a huge advantage. I really think we're going to see that in the gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on the opposite side of that, Fenniq, is Pavkin. I think that's one of the more interesting storylines here is not only is this their first time going to a LAN to compete in Minecraft speedrunning, this is their first ever tournament at this scale. They've never performed in a playoffs before, as Naddy said, and this is their opportunity to show why they're one of the best players in the world on the biggest stage possible for their very first showing. So you got to go in there if you're Pavkin, just get comfortable once you step onto the stage and be able to get a couple points on the board right away. I mean, you just settle the nerves down in such a competitive environment like playoffs and be able to kind of get your way through to be able to make it to stage 2. You don't have to win. You don't have to be one of the first seeds. You just got to make it through to stage 2 if you're Pavkin and just get comfortable up there again. This is a super competitive environment, and we've seen players like Infume break at that very first stage. When the first time that Infume came onto playoffs, he lost his very first round coming into the tournament as a 1 seed. Going into that and just being very calm, cool, and collected, and being reserved in every seed that you play, knowing that you earned your place in this competition is going to be critical for Pavkin to be able to go forward. Now, obviously, Pavkin's not going to be one of the favorites. Similarly, all the other people that have qualified in one of the last qualifier events or into that Curryway style, free-for-all style event, not going to be one of the favorites. But one person that I think in particular should be looked at as a favorite is Silverr. Silverr consistently has been one of those players that is always at the leading edge, not only of route making or gameplay mechanic wise, but is always consistently one of the best players in every single playoffs and competition that he plays in. He's always playing at the highest level and has the mindset that he is the best in the world and wants to show that to the rest of the world. So even though he barely scraped in off of the last match with Eric at the last possible moment, he is going to go in there, I think, and really put out a statement and show why he deserves to be in this competition, why he deserved to be in it from the beginning, and show that he's going to be one of the top seeds going into stage 2.
Yeah, I think Silver's story is really interesting. Of course, he famously won the first ever playoffs, but I feel like when watching Season 10, I feel like he was one of the players where you're really watching and think like, whoa, Silverr could win again. Like Silverr, I think he's really at his best. Silverr is so good at the moment. I think he's kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, he's always been at the top, but I think that his form at the moment is better than it's ever been. And yeah, I think he's a big favorite to take this, especially with how many tournaments he's played in all different formats all over so many years. I think this isn't going to feel that new to him as it is to many players here. Like, it's something he's comfortable in. I think it's looking good for Silverr.
Silverr does well under pressure. We've seen that as well with the KyleEff prize, where Silverr was selected to try and run a seed within, I think it was 15 and then 20 minutes at random RSG. And he won under insane pressure. I think there were tens of thousands of people watching because this was a time where KyleEff was streaming. We often see Silverr and Doogile doing a lot of lab work, especially on stream, especially before events. I'm really excited to see how Pavkin does because Pavkin is another one of the scientists. He's actually responsible for a lot of the tech that eventually filters its way to the mainstream routes. And if you look through the discords where he and other incredible, they are scientists, route developers, are doing a lot of the work, I think that he's going to have a huge advantage in terms of genuine fresh micro that we don't see on the ranked ladder every day when we're watching streams, but something that's new, something that's different, maybe freshly created. I'm excited to see how he does with that.
Yeah, I think Pavkin is someone that I think you can easily call the best Bastion player in the game. I mean, he did win Raul's Bastion tournament, which kind of shows just his intuition when it comes to Bastion. But I also think, yeah, just that amount of time he's put into Bastion, optimizing every single route for every single Bastion, doing his own takes and everything. And he's really coming out of nowhere. Only playing his first ranked game in Season 6. And getting his first face point in Season 8. So, I mean, he's brand new. And, you know, for him qualifying here, I think it's so cool. And I love to see him have opportunity like this.
We've also seen the stats sheet. Pavkin has the lowest RSG PB of any of the runners here with a 705, which is just a couple of seconds above the previous world record. That's insane.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up that I really love Pavkin's story. One of the technicians of the game, like you said, Molly, is just somebody that's so front focused on being the micromanager of seconds whenever it comes to a Bastion, doing things like the Glodar and naming that woke technology that some of these top runners will probably put on this display during this World Championship. But alongside of that, RSG is one of those things that I think really differentiates players from ranked. You know, ranked is one of those things where you load up, you know exactly what you're going to see whenever you step onto a seed nowadays. But RSG, you have to have a different type of mindset and be able to think through so many different scenarios. And I think that a couple different runners that are going to fall into this category of those RSG-focused runners obviously are the Skycrabs of the world. But very recently, Aquacrode's been playing a lot of RSG. And I think that will play very, very well into his skill set. I see a lot of his skill set in Jay, Bad Gamer as well, who did exceptionally well in the LCQ for Season 10, putting up one of the best performances we've ever seen in that. But Aquacrode not only has that mentality of looking for very creative solutions for everything that he does in a Minecraft speedrun, but also, I mean, he knows how to come back from adversity. 2 reverse sweeps in the last playoffs to get into the semifinals and prove that he's one of the best players in the world, qualifying in that top 3 spot in Season 10 as well. I think that he's one of the players that really can show why he's one of the best in the world at this tournament, and kind of redeem the fact that he was a top 3 player and go up against the titans of the game and show that he can get very, very far into that stage 2. I really do think we could see another top 4 performance out of Aquacrode here at this stage. I mean, the adversity that he's gone through in every single playoff that he's played recently, in every single scenario he's played, and being able to think quickly on your toes is so paramount in Minecraft speedrunning. I mean, this is somebody that I don't think a lot of people are going to be looking at and thinking, this is a top 4 player. This is a finalist potential player. But I really do think that he's going to shock a lot of people when he steps onto that stage.
Yeah, I think of Aquacrode kind of similarly, as I said to Silverr, someone who's always been at the top. He's been in so many playoffs, but you know, you never really consider him to be one of the best. But I also, again, I think with the RSG he's played recently, he's playing at such an insane level. I think it's also easy to say that he's at his best ever. And I think we could, get an amazing performance out of him here.
Yeah, I mean, last pre-show, I was singing Aquacrode's praises as one of the most improved players in the entire playoffs at the time. And obviously in this event as well, I still stand that true. I mean, it's like I go on YouTube like twice a week and there's a new Aquacrode RSG PB and then a new ranked PB. And this guy's just improving in both facets of ranked. Minecraft speedrunning, and I think that RSG element, as you say, is really interesting. I mean, it showed last time at Level Up LAN, Skycrab going and winning the Level Up LAN, being the only sort of RSG main in in that tournament. So I really think the balance of those sort of things and being able to think on your feet and change your mind in those moments is really important.
Like you said, it's very difficult to do a practice map for mental, and mental makes up such a significant portion of gameplay. I genuinely believe RSG is the closest thing you can have to a practice map for mental, because what happens when you're on the wall is you're bored. Your brain is pretty much turned off. Every now and then you'll get a BT or a shipwreck, you play that, but your brain is pretty switched off. What happens when you get on pace is you go from 0 to 100 immediately. Everyone on Paceman gets a ping. Your chat goes from 30, 50, 100 people to sometimes multiple hundreds in an instant. And you have to ignore that, lock in, go from being completely locked out of the game to play the best and the most finessed in your life, because who knows when you'll get another seed like that. It is an extreme mental task. And I think the fact that we're seeing a lot of runners practice RSG is kind of like that practice training map for mental.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool spotlight on these sort of RSG players with the sort of mental. And especially with Pavkin as well. Pavkin was someone I really highlighted. As you said, Kyle, coming through, especially later on. First phase point Season 8, which is the eligibility period, which is really interesting. I actually came across Pavkin first in the MCSR X Bedwars tournament, ran by Sivionox and Rosebeams, who, funnily enough, is actually here to talk to us about her playoffs debut in the commentary booth.
Hello, I'm Rosebeams, otherwise known as Rose. I am the newest playoffs commentator, and I'm going to be commentating at the MCSR World Championships.
So yeah, your debut as a commentator on the ranked playoff stage is done. How are you feeling? What's your thoughts? What was the whole experience like from top to bottom, and especially on the day when you're commentating as a duo alongside someone like KyleEff?
Honestly, it still doesn't feel like it happened. It still doesn't feel real. It was like within the space of a week, less than. I didn't even have time to like fully digest it. It was sort of just like thrown straight in. But that was kind of good because I think if I'd given myself more time to like dwell on it and overthink it, then I probably would have like psyched myself out. Was able to like fit in some time in Curry's incredibly busy schedule for us to like actually get to know each other, because that was kind of our first time actually like talking, and I was able to kind of ask a million questions. And I did the same thing with Naddy. And then kind of going into the first day, I think I was really terrified. Once I'd kind of like done the first games, I was like, okay, I can do this. As the days went on, I think I just like settled in so much more. And another thing that I think really helped was like top players and like past playoff players take the time to like message me and say that I did a good job and that they really enjoyed my commentary. And I think that was just like weight off my shoulders, because I was like, okay, if this person who's like really good at the game and knows the game really well has taken the time to tell me that I did a good job, then I probably did a good job. Commentating alongside someone like KyleEff, you know, he is so good at what he does and he's so passionate and he's so lovely, and I just feel like the two of us work really well as a commentary duo, and I think we balance each other out pretty well, and that just made it reassuring to know that I have someone as experienced as he is kind of alongside me, and it takes a lot of the pressure off. It's been crazy, honestly.
No, I think as a viewer, it was definitely kind of very natural off the first glance of seeing you two as a duo. I mean, I've commentated with him. I did NRI 9K with him, so I know what it's like to work alongside him in that sense, and I thought you guys really hit it off. What, you've been around MCSR for a long time, and you have a lot of experience, especially in esports. You're by far the most esports experienced of like the entire ranked team probably put together. Because I know you worked on production side. Do you think that you could take that through into ranked comms and kind of give you a sort of like foundation to start with? Or was it just, it didn't really apply too much on the commentary side?
If people are unaware, I used to work major broadcasts for CSGO, so I've done CSGO majors, and sort of from 2018, 2019, almost every like major CSGO event. You know, my degree background is in broadcasting, wrote my like dissertation, 10,000 words on esports broadcasting and how that can influence like traditional sports broadcasting. It's my passion, but I kind of had taken a break from it from a little bit. It's actually less stress to be on the other side of the production, because beforehand I would be behind the scenes directing cameras and I would be cutting between different scenes and things like that. It was comforting in the sense of, you know, I knew how a production works and I know how live broadcast works. I know esports really well. Whatever the game, the formula is kind of the same. It helps with ideas for further down the line as well, because I'll be doing a broadcast and I'll think, oh, we could maybe do that, and that could work better if we did this thing, or we could maybe try this idea out in the future. I've done like presenting and hosting and things, but I'd never done commentary on that kind of scale before. It's so great to be back in that side of things and take a kind of new approach and new look to esports and broadcasting.
And speaking of, you will be doing that in just a couple weeks time in LA for the World Championships. So taking it from the virtual environment, I guess just in your bedroom sort of thing, into the actual IRL stage where there's going to be probably 1,000 people there.
Doing playoffs, because you're just like, I'm just sat at my desk. You know, I'm not looking at chat, I'm not looking at viewership numbers, I don't look at anything. I'm just focusing on like the game and the commentary. So, but I think like actually being there and hearing the crowd and potentially seeing the crowd, I don't know what the setup is going to be like, but I think that's cool because you can feed off the crowd, and I think nothing beats having a live crowd, particularly for esports. Ranked and Minecraft speedrunning just lends itself so well to an audience, and to have those moments and just like the little glimpses of that we've already seen with like LFI and the Vegas LAN and even like Mid-Offs Live at TwitchCon. It's just so special. You can't beat live events.
Yeah. Yes. Get in there, Rose.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Rose. And we will pick up that interview later on in the show. One thing which I think is... Rose didn't really touch on it too much in the sense of, but obviously, especially with the likes of Rose and Fulham, jet lag will be a factor. Not as much for the commentators, of course, and the analysts, but especially for the players. Out of the 12, there are about 6 or 7 that are native to the continent. With, I guess, the other half of them, if you like, not. I believe these players fly in Thursday, maybe Wednesday, around there. So they'll have a couple days to adjust to the climate and the jet lag. And obviously, I guess it is a bit easier going west rather than east because you just extend your day out and then go to bed. If these players want to have a normal sleep schedule, which they will need to. So do we think playing on home soil will be a big advantage, especially maybe for the crowd if their viewers are more from NA? Or do we think it will just be more of an even playing field across that sort of thing and which players will benefit from it?
Well, I think most of these people will kind of move their bad sleep schedule into a normal one. Because I think most of them stay up at NA hours anyway.
I think you're 100% right. I think, look, at the end of the day, these are all speedrunners. Minecraft speedrunners that stream at horrible hours. I mean, I'm just thinking now, like, because of Lifesteal World, like, Infume is up until 5 in the morning consistently. And then he wakes up and starts playing again at, like, 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He actually might be at a disadvantage because of his sleep schedule being so bad. Whereas the speedrunners that already have a bad sleep schedule, outside of, like, Monkey, who has a good sleep schedule for where he lives, I mean, that's an advantage right then and there in of itself. Like, it's incredible, like, how many of these speedrunners already have poor sleep schedules that will just get thrusted into a decent sleep schedule. And if it's not bad where they live already, they're coming to a new continent. I mean, they'll have a day to kind of settle into that, like you said, Bendo. But I mean, generally speaking, your focus is on the moment right there. If you are European, these matches are going to be played at around 9 or 10 a.m. local time in California, which, if you're from the United Kingdom, is 8 hours ahead of LA. So, I mean, an 8-hour time difference is from morning to afternoon or from afternoon to evening. So that could be a beneficial thing for the Europeans that are coming into the situation, especially with the matches being played in the morning. Whereas, like, the Feinbergs of the world will roll out of bed at 3:30 in the afternoon and go live until whenever he wants to be done. So that's a big time difference for Feinberg, where he's playing matches 5 hours earlier than he typically would. Now, he's done that with playoffs and everything, but being in a different situation, being at a different bed, in a different place where you're not really as comfortable, could be a determining factor there.
Is it going to be a face reveal for some of our players as well? I don't remember if Pavkin has face revealed, so I think there's going to be a lot of pressure as well. If that is, in fact, face reveal, I just don't remember knowing what Pavkin looks like. And a face reveal with dark circles from the lack of sleep is going to be rough. But I think Pavkin lives in North America anyway.
You can play it off then. You can act like, you've not seen me before. This is normal. Don't worry about it.
This is normal.
It's okay. One player I do want to put a spotlight on, which I feel like somewhat overwhelming favorite coming into this. And I feel like any event he plays at the moment, whether that's like an MCC level event or a rank level event, is Infume. He is just phenomenal at the moment. It feels like nothing can stop him. He is the only player to have a ranked PB under 6 minutes, which is insane. It's at a 5:47. But crucially, is off the back of back-to-back second places and just hasn't been able to make it over the line. I mean, especially that absolute cinema of a game against EDCR in the Season 10 playoffs. I mean, the comeback from EDCR was incredible. If you haven't watched that back, trust me, you need to go do it, because it's amazing series and just truly what MCSR could be. But do we feel like he'll be sort of the chaser, as he's never won this before, especially with Hacks, having the title of 2 titles going into this? Or do you think he'll have a bit of a target on his back?
Look, Infume is king consistency, right? He is somebody that will walk up to a computer, will walk into his ranked client, and immediately just play at one of the best levels you've ever seen ever. And match over match over match, he'll play at that same exact level. There are very, very few flaws in his game that you have to find an exploit, where these runners will be able to, but they'll really have to try hard and play off of those mistakes that Infume maybe makes. So, I mean, honestly, Infume probably should walk into stage 1 and be one of those people that you can just write his name in pen for stage 2. Now, obviously, we can't say that in stone, but my expectation is he just walks in there and it's one of the higher seeds in stage 2 going into the elimination bracket. So, I mean, we need to see him get over that hump, like you said. EDCR not playing in this tournament is a huge factor for him. Infume seems like he has an EDCR bug kind of kicking him every single time he steps into the playoffs. But, I mean, this is his opportunity to prove that when the lights are the brightest, he can get over that hump and show why he's one of the best players in the world and one of the most consistent, where this format really does reward consistency over an extended amount of time.
Definitely. And I think Infume's star is rising. We've seen him join Lifesteal. We've seen him play and win multiple competitions. But the playoffs win is the one thing he's still chasing, and I think he has an insane hunger for it. A lot of the people who are playing have won playoffs, and I think it's going to be interesting watching him balance the mental of the pressure to win playoffs with the absolute aggressive hunger for that win. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I guess some of the players we haven't spoken about as well are the players that came through the LCQs. I feel like, you know, they're, I guess, quote-unquote, lesser-known names, probably apart from the likes of Silverr. But as they didn't play through playoffs and had to play through an extra weekend, people probably will be looking at them as, like, the most likely candidates to not make it through the first stage. But especially when you've got players like Silverr here. HDMI, I think, is a really interesting one in the sense of day one, he made it to both the winners and losers finals, loses them, and then scrapes through by a single point on the second day. So it'll be really interesting to see how HDMI is going to fare in this one. But is there anyone you guys have got your eye on in particular outside the LCQ? Of course, we've touched on Pavkin already, and of course, we know the likes of Silverr. But anyone you think that, you know, maybe, I guess, be your own dark horse in this event?
I'm actually really interested to see how Enco does. On paper, they're probably the most similar to Mollyyxy. I looked through the stats. They have an all-time record of 215 games being won by Mollyyxy, 223 being won by Enco. So out of 438 matches, there's an 8-game difference, which is actually insane. It's so close. I'm really excited to see. Maybe they go head-to-head, maybe they don't. But I think they're most similar in terms of gameplay and consistency.
I mean, and he's also like a player that we've seen so many times in playoffs. And I think like he's always been good. Like he's always been at the top of the game, but he's never really had that major title. Coming into a tournament like this, I wonder how he's feeling, like knowing that this might be his chance. This is a situation that's very different than what most people are used to. Like maybe he's gonna have his chance to sneak in the big placement that he's been chasing.
Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity for Enco to really show why. I mean, in the first couple of seasons of the ranked playoffs, he was one of those mainstays that was always there on the bracket. You looked at the bracket and you expected to see his name there. Making it to at least one grand finals against Loki in season 4, making it to a top 3 matchup against Quist in season 2. I mean, he was one of those players that at the very beginning was one of the best, but the last 3 seasons has not been able to make it to the playoffs. So now, in an opportunity really to show, kind of remind everybody why he is one of the best in the world at what he does, and step into the spotlight again and be on that main stage with a lot of experience that many people that are new to the community may not be aware of. And like you said before, Fenniq, like Enco and Mollyyxy have a very similar playstyle where they're not very mechanically challenging, and you watch their gameplay and it's not screaming at you, but they're very fluid and they know how to flow through a game through the entire thing, where you're kind of blink and realize, wow, I'm already in the fortress getting my 3rd rot. Wow, it's 4 minutes in, you know? So those types of players are ones that kind of sneak up on you. They're not blasting you with your mechanics the entire way through. They're really just playing the flow of the game, where Minecraft kind of feels really natural to them and really fluid. And they see the game very visually, right? They're able to kind of see and determine everything one step at a time and make those conscious decisions as they're going, and overlap so many different things at that one moment, and be able to just go and do what they need to do at that one single second. But I think that we'd be remiss if we didn't talk at least once about Doogile. That's one name we just haven't talked about whatsoever. An incredible player from top to bottom. One of those players that has won multiple playoffs in the past and has consistently been one of the best players in the world. Former world record holder in the past as well with a 7:15. And he is one of those players that, again, working with Silverr to make sure that all of his strategies are at the highest level possible. He is one of the most mechanically gifted players in all of MCSR, and he shows it every single time that we see him play in one of these major tournaments. Now, he didn't have a great showing against Aquacrode in Season 10. Again, one of those victims to the reverse sweep that Aquacrode had so infamously done. But I would expect Doogile to bounce back here a little bit on the world stage and show and remind everyone again, it really is one of the best players. It could be any given day, Doogile could be playing at the best level in the world, and it could very well be Sunday in the World Championships to show everyone again that he is one of the top dogs.
What I would describe as elegant. It's actually one of the most beautiful to watch gameplays. You obviously have people like EDCR or Hacks who have a very aggressive, very dominant style. Doogile's style has the aggression of like the speed, the move, but the movement is clean. It's the way to describe it is elegant. I'm so excited for people to get to see it IRL. because it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and Doogile has already had great runs at LAN, at both the ranked LAN and the pace. I think the stage is going to feel familiar to him. I think he's not going to feel a lot of this pressure that some of the other runners might feel. And I mean, he's just such a talented runner. If you look at the stats of every player here, he has the best average. And he's always at the top of the leaderboard. He's so good at the game. I think it's hard to say. Like, you mentioned Infume being a favorite. In my eyes, I don't even need to think, and I think Doogile can walk out of this so easily with the first place trophy.
Yeah, there's a lot of candidates which are like really kind of sticking out at you, who you could really think, could they go all the way, you know, tournament history. Silver's a big one with tournament history. Someone we haven't talked about with a lot of tournament history is Feinberg. Now, kind of controversially here, to be honest, you know, EDCR drops that gives the spot to Feinberg in the Season 10 playoffs. Couple controversial wins with the perch situation that has now been resolved for Season 11. So kind of here a little bit on a technicality, but I think we all know with who the man is. You put him on a stage, you put him in front of a computer, he is Matthew Feinberg. He's going to show up the way you expect him to, and it's just purely one of the favorites to me. Just purely is, and I just think he's going to shine through. But it's going to be really interesting to see who he matches up in the stage 2 bracket, because he is one of those ones. I'm getting the pen out. I'm getting the Sharpie out. I'm putting him in stage 2 straight away.
I think obviously the natural reaction was shock, horror, disbelief. I think a lot of people got quite up in arms about it, but we have to remember that this is a game of skill and luck. And being lucky is part of the game, and he got lucky, but that he put himself in a position where he could get lucky. When we look at his stats, he has a 608 ranked PB, which suggests an incredibly high skill ceiling. I think his downfall or weakness, of anything, is his lack of willingness to take up new micro, because we know he's like famously slow on the uptake of new strats. But if he chooses to lock in, I think a lot of the other runners are very lucky. He often doesn't choose to do that and prioritizes other game modes, other gameplay, because when he locks in, no one wants to be around.
One of the more horrifying notifications that all these runners got right after the Season 10 playoffs was that Feinberg was learning Top TNT and Glodar. And that is something that will be on full display, that I know Feinberg has been practicing these newer techniques, has begun to finally modernize this game after his 37 times beating Minecraft with all of the advancements at the fastest possible rate. So Feinberg, again, it could be any given day, and you step up to the plate against Feinberg, you could get your head completely blown sideways because Feinberg is just blowing past you. I mean, there is opportunities for Feinberg to show he is the best player in the world. And I really do think that his ceiling is probably the highest out of any of the competitors here today. Even though it doesn't show with the world record or anything like that in ranked, I really do think that the highest highs of Feinberg really are the highest highs of the community. And I mean, there's a reason why he is one of the faces of MCSR. He really is one of the best players in the world, and he has showed it for every single season that he has participated. When he takes a step back away from ranked and he comes back on local tortilla, he's still able to show that without all the bells and whistles that we are so comfortable with here, he is fully skillful enough to be able to blow past you and beat you every single time. So I would not be surprised to see Feinberg go and prove the haters wrong, show why nothing that was left up to luck in the last playoffs, and prove that he can be one of the best players in the world and probably win this entire thing. Now, there could be some bias here with Ludwig and Feinberg. I don't know. He was staying at Ludwig's house very recently, but I mean, I do think he'll come into this tournament with a mindset of, I'm coming in to show why I'm one of the best players in the world. I don't get lucky. There is a reason why that I belong in this situation.
He doesn't get lucky. He's good at the game. It just is what it is.
Yeah, famously, I'm not lucky. I'm just good at the game.
You saw that too. Just a word on MrBudgie as well. Obviously, one of the most kind of overlooked players coming into this, and understandably so, given the names on offer and the experience on offer. But I think it's quite key to note that he was the winner of the second LCQ, and that was a 10 seed grueling day of runs, which is the exact setup that these players will be seeding into. So do you think that kind of plays into his hands a little bit, that he got here by doing the structure that he has to get to Sunday for? He could be a bit, he could come out of nowhere and be out of left field and make his way into Sunday.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I mean, he's someone who's been around for so long. Like, he's been playing ranked ever since it came out, and he's been in one playoffs before, and now being here at this huge opportunity, I think it's so cool to see him, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do here.
He's done so well in LCQ formats. Maybe this is something that's going to mirror that, where we really see him spread his wings and fly.
I like that. Budgie reference. Budgie reference. Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting to see who ends up coming out on top over the 2 days, and I'm sure everyone here in the desk has their choices. But before we get on to that, we got to throw it back to Rosebeams to tell us all about everything coming up and all about the LAN. Obviously, Ranked is a smaller team. This is done in collaboration with Ludwig and his team. So quite a big sort of step up in viewer base and I guess production level we've seen for MCSR, because we've got 2 teams working on this. Do you have any expectations for it, especially with your background in esports? Like, do you have a certain approach you are going into it, or just going to see what happens?
Being able to see the stage and the arena and everything beforehand will be really helpful, and also have the time to just like hang out and meet the other like talent as well. Yeah, just gonna see what happens, just gonna enjoy it and just make the absolute most of it, help in any way I can if they need help, but I'm sure they've got it, and I'm probably a little bit rusty anyway, so I can coil a good cable though. I'm free for that.
Cable? What do you mean?
Yeah, because you have to coil cables in a certain way, particularly if it's like
rounds.
You just have to like coil them.
Yeah,
do it in a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah, I live for that. Like, I would just like 50 meter camera cable, I would just sit and do that. Particularly if it was like a bad, overwhelming broadcast, so you just need like quiet time, I would just go sit and be like, just need me with the cables, and I would just coil the cables. It's a really good way to just calm down.
Yeah, it's not the only thing happening this month in that you're involved in MCSR. There's also MCSR Pride Parade, which you're working on with Civi and Ox and Molly, who's actually on the desk this week, so it's going to be so awesome. Just kind of talk us through the setup, the inspiration for it, the reasons, and the charity you're going to be raising money for as well.
MCSR Pride Parade is a speedrunning event specifically for our players who identify as LGBTQ+. Civi and Ox and Molly kind of knew they wanted to do a Pride event. Civ and I have worked together previously. We organised MCSR X Bed Balls event. Civ was like, let's get Rose involved in this. In terms of the format, best of 1, 1v1, and then the bracket will narrow down, and then when we get to the finals it'll be best of 3, and we have Cole all the way up to Netherite. You know, there's no pressure, there's no prize, it's just for people to have fun and to play Minecraft. And the charity that we are raising money for is Rainbow Railroad. They are an incredible charity, and their focus is essentially helping and supporting LGBTQ+ people who are facing persecution or fleeing areas where their lives are at risk. Wanted to help raise money for them whilst, you know, having an event that celebrates the kind of wonderful part of our community, because I think the LGBTQ+ community within MCSR is so big and there's so many people who make it up. Yeah, the 3 of us kind of were like, let's make this happen, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be awesome. It is on the 28th of June, Sunday the 28th of June, and it's starting at 3 p.m. BST, which is 10 a.m. Eastern.
Playing for an awesome cause, and you could say the players are playing for pride.
Yes, that's good. I might steal that, actually.
I'm really proud of that one as well. I'm so proud of that one.
Might make that little tagline. Yeah, that's good.
I'm ending it like that. I'm not getting better than that. That's how it's gonna naturally outro into that. Okay, I think we should join back with W Pride. I think it'd be really funny.
Sure. Funny. Wow, it's funny to you, Bendo?
Sorry. No.
That's fine.
I mean, cool. Like, oh shit. It's so over.
We're keeping that one in.
Yeah, that one's staying in. That is staying in. W Pride.
W Pride. I'm making a firework with my hands.
I can edit that. I can just like, wait, I'll full screen you. Bang, do the firework. Boom! There we go. It's been rotoscoped. Awesome. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose, for to be able to interview. And we will be seeing you in LA commentating the LAN. It's going to be so awesome. Now, guys, we obviously cannot end the pre-show and talk about everything without giving our opinion on who we think's going to win, what's going to happen. So I want something you think's going to happen, because we don't know the bracket. You could say we have like no triple, double bad gap stables, and the other bastions are lava housing, and everyone's got to figure it out. And I think Feinberg's going to win. So something like that. Molly, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Who do you think is taking home $10,000.
Like I said before, I believe in Doogile for this. I believe in Doog. I think he's so good, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he takes this.
I like it. I like it. Going with Doog, solid choice. Fenniq, who you got taking home the crown?
It's a battle between my head and my heart. I think Infume has what it takes this time. I think he's hungry enough. If he can keep his mental during the games, he'll win. I also really hope to see a lava housing because I love drama. So we'll hope for that.
That would be really cool. I've been saying for ages that every runner needs to have it in their pocket, at least like a 1 or 2 lava housing routes in there. I mean, you see Beef Salad do a lot specifically. Kyle, bringing to you finally of the guests. Go on, spit your magic.
Couple predictions here for this weekend. First thing, I agree. I think we're going to see at least 1 lava housing this weekend. Second, I think this is it. I think this is the time that we're going to finally see another sub-6 happen. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to happen. And we're all going to be stunned. Because it's not going to be one of the top runners. It's not going to be Hacks. It's not going to be Infume. It's going to be one of the players coming out of the qualifiers. That bottom 5 that really snuck their way in there. Speaking of which, I think that Pavkin is not only going to make it to stage 2, but is going to take a match in the elimination bracket as well. But it's not going to be him stepping up to the podium at first place. We are going to see Silverr runs hoisting the trophy at the very end and winning the world championships.
Solid pick, solid pick. I love those predictions. I love it. I'd love to see a sub-6. I would really like to see Pavkin do a really nice run. I love Pavkin's story. I just think watching him play is amazing. I think that's awesome. This is so different to last week. Last week I had everyone on my ass thinking, Infume's taking everything. Why are you picking the British runner? And then it became true. So I've got to see if I got to go 2 for 2 on this one. No, everyone picking differently on the desk. God, wow. Okay, what do I think is going to happen? Well, one of my picks was I think Pavkin's going to make stage 2. I think that'd be really cool. Do I think any of the quote unquote big boys are going to crash out? All right, I'll make a bold prediction. I'll stick my neck on the line. I'll do it, even if I don't have full confidence this is going to happen. I don't think we will see Skycrab make it past stage 1. I know. Oh, I've got 1,000 people in my comment section now hating me.
I need my country's pride. This can't
happen.
happen.
I'm so sorry. Oh, I've got to change my prediction though. No, I mean Skycrab has the LAN experience. I just think I do really fancy a lot of these qualifiers runners, specifically in Pavkin and Silverr, especially. I think we'll see those 2, or at least 2 out of 5 of the qualifier runners make it onto the second stage. And I'm of course really interested to see how Hacks does by not playing the first stage. But my head says Infume is finally going to get over the hump and make it and do it. Especially when he's played. I mean, he coached, but he did mid-offs and coached mid-offs to victory. But he's in the driving seat this time. He's got the mouse and keyboard on him. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go in my head. I think I'm saying Infume. I think if someone gave me a $5 now and said put it on a player, my money would go towards Infume. I think I'd go towards Infume.
Wow, really courageous pick there, Bendo.
Yeah,
really
no, I've gone with the favorite. Yeah, I've gone with the bookie's favorite. It's okay. But I would love to see if like my heart says Pavkin, I'd love to see Pavkin make a full run all the way. I just think his story's so cool and awesome. Well, that has been it for the second episode of the pre-show, the first pre-show for the World Championships. And of course, we will be raiding straight into the playoffs now, as hopefully this time the stream has started not 10 minutes after I queue it up, which will be brilliant. And I'm not sat here in the daylight waiting for it to happen, but it should be good this time, and I can't wait for it. So thank you to Rose for the interview, thank you to Naddy for helping out, of course thank you to Crypt and Seb for the graphics, thank you to Ortoid for the brilliant music that's just fading in right now. Wow, look how cool and awesome that is. It's like literally it's getting louder and louder. It's awesome. And of course thank you to Fenniq, thank you to Molly, and thank you to Kyle for hopping on the desk for the second show. Kyle will of course see you there in LA, but everyone else, enjoy playoffs. Thank you, and goodbye.